Welcome to the Voice of Reason Sports Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show, leave a comment, and click that like button. Welcome back to the podcast. It's the marvelous one and Dell. Dell.
Yo.
Yeah, man. I mean, we both got some wins on the wins at the end of the season. However, my win just doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Because there's so much to talk about. But you know what? I know I usually start the show off talking about the Saints, but I'm gonna be down this dark and gloomy end of it. And I don't want to start the show off like that. I want to start the show off with some sunshine, some cotton candy, and butterflies here. So you go on and talk about your Cowboys.
Yeah. Let's get in on them. Them NFC East number 2 seed Cowboys. It's the season went how I ended up how I predicted it would. Dallas will win the East, will win 12 games. And you know what I'm saying? I was hoping we'd be number 1 seed, but hey, I'll take number 2. I mean, we ain't got to see San Francisco until the championship game, and that's the only team I'm really worried about, for real. And of course, the number 2 seed means we're going to get at least 2 home games.
Right.
So, and that's big for Dallas because Dallas just is, for the last 2 years, it ain't just started this year. People saying how they haven't been as good on the road as they have been home. And it's true. I mean, you look at the numbers and see, it's night and day. But that's been for the last 2 years. That ain't been just last 1 year. That was last year as well. In general, teams are better at home than they are on the road. That's why you want home field advantage, right?
Right.
But just took that to the extreme. We won all our games the last 2 years have been lost on the road.
So wait a minute. You said the only team you're concerned about are the 49ers. You're not concerned about the Lions. You're not concerned about the Rams. You're not concerned about any of those teams.
You mean the 2 teams we beat already? Nah.
Eagles?
Yeah. What? Really?
You lost to them.
Is anybody concerned with the Eagles? We also smoked them.
Okay.
I remember that.
I do remember.
Yeah. They barely edged by us, by Dallas. But Dallas smoked them, domination style. And then they lost their last 2 games. They limped into the playoffs. I mean, who's worried about the Eagles right now?
I'm just saying. I mean, I thought the Lions could have beaten you, but the Lions didn't have anything to play for. We saw that clearly at the end of the game when they went for 2 3 times in a row. They weren't interested in winning that game. I mean, or playing another quarter of football, 6 or however many you play in overtime. They weren't interested in playing anymore. They wanted that game over.
Well, they were interested in winning. That's why they went for 2.
They either wanted it to end at that moment.
And they did have something to play for. What are we talking about?
They didn't have anything to play for.
What are you talking about? Yes, they did. They had to know they could have had the number 2 seed instead of us. If they would have, they would be in the number 2 seed right now and have 2 home games.
I don't think they were totally interested in it. I don't think they were totally interested. You can tell by that moment at the end of the game that they went for 2 3 times in a row.
That does not mean they're not interested in winning that game. That's not what that means.
I'm not saying they weren't interested in winning the game. I'm saying they weren't interested in playing another however minutes you play in overtime. They weren't interested in playing anymore.
So you think that they just didn't want to play an extra quarter? That's why they went for 2, Marv?
Yes. No, they wanted that game over. They wanted it over at that moment.
The game was way more important than them paying 1 extra quarter, and they still had a game to go after that. And the number 2 seed was still on the line. They had to win that game. They did what they thought they could do to win the game.
But think about it. Even you question it.
Everybody questioned it.
After the 2-point conversion was overturned and they got moved back for how many yards, 10 yards or whatever it was like, wait a minute, they're still going for it? And then the Cowboys player was offside, so it got moved up 5 yards or whatever it was. And then they went for it again. We both looking at each other like, wait, why not just kick the extra point, send this game in overtime, and try again?
He said it out of his own mouth when they were on that last drive. He told them, when we go down and score, we're gonna go for 2. And he wanted to hold up to what he said. So that's why he did it. This is out his own mouth. Nothing
Okay.
about him play no extra quarter, because that game was important to them. They say they don't have nothing to do. They had nothing to play for. That's a no. They definitely had something to play for. They had
I
to play for.
I think they were the better team, and I think they could have beaten you.
Oh, the better team lost is what you're saying? I
The
mean,
better team lost.
I got some stats to show you otherwise.
What? CeeDee Lamb with 200 yards receiving, the only person that was catching the ball for the Cowboys that
I
game?
mean, we got team stats. It ain't just single. I got team stats.
I mean,
You know what I'm
look,
saying? You want to see? I mean, I'm saying it's not just the scoreboard.
you got the win. You got the win. I just wouldn't say the only team you should be worried about are the 49ers.
Only team I'm worried about is the 49ers.
Okay.
We'll play everybody else. We will play at home.
Okay.
And that's why we won 17 games straight at home. I mean, 16 games straight at home. Okay.
How many playoff games have you won at home?
Let's see. Last year, 1. And then the year before that, 2. No, 1. Dak won 2 home playoffs. No. One of those was in Tampa Bay.
No, one was in Tampa. The one in Tampa Bay last year. But here's the thing about it. I believe that the Eagles made out better, right, by not being the number 2 seed, by being a wild card team. Here's why.
You overthinking this just like you did the Redskin game, just like the Wild Commanders game.
No.
Way overthinking this.
No, I'm not overthinking this. Just think about this. Just hear me out. Hear me out. The Eagles. Would you rather play in Philadelphia in January or Tampa in January?
Oh man, come on, man.
And against a bad Bucks team.
Ain't nobody thinking about that.
Ain't nobody thinking about that?
Okay. Rather be at home in the playoffs. Period. Anybody will tell you rather be home in the.
I would rather face the Bucks than the Packers.
You'd rather face? Well, they ain't gotta face the Packers.
The Cowboys have to face the Packers, right?
Yeah, we had to face the Packers.
Exactly. So
you're saying,
your chances are better against the Bucks than the Packers.
I guess so. Did Tampa beat the Packers? I can't remember. Didn't they beat them?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if they beat them or not.
They did 34-20.
34-20. Okay.
So you can rather play them all you want to.
I'd rather play the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are that good.
Okay. All right. Well,
yeah. Well,
I think that they have more firepower in the Bucks than they do with the Packers. And they definitely have a better defense for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely got a better defense.
So I don't know where you're getting that one from, but I would rather play. I would rather play at home than on the road. That's easy. No matter who I'm playing, I would much rather play at home than go to the Packers or go to wherever they're going, to Tampa Bay, wherever they're going, being on the road.
And that's fair. And I would rather play in Dallas, inside the dome, where the temperature is controlled, opposed to Philadelphia.
Where you got less fans? Oh, you talking about temperature, man. There's so much more to go into that.
Hey, man, look. Less fans in Tampa. Philadelphia fans are going to go down to Tampa for this game.
They'll go down, but it still will be less fans.
It'll be less. It'll be less than it will be.
Tickets. They do that playoff time. They control how many tickets they sell to the Tampa fans. I mean, to the away team fans. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're gonna make sure it's more Buccaneers fans in there than Philly.
Okay.
But my boys did what they're supposed to do. They went through and dominated the division, like I told you for the last 2 seasons. We own that division. Own it.
Stop it. You didn't own it last year. You didn't own it last season.
What are you talking about? I just already went through the numbers with you.
You didn't win the division last season.
We lost 1 game in the division. 1.
But you still didn't win the division.
No, we lost 2 games in the division because we lost the last one. Yeah, but you don't have to win the division to own the division, Marv. All you got to do is beat the division. That's how you own your division. You beat those teams in that division.
Okay, but you don't win the division. You don't get the
Yeah, you
division
don't win
crown.
the division because you get all them other sorry teams that Philly played, that little light ass
Oh
schedule they had
man,
last year.
stop it.
You still have that. Ain't no stop it. That's what the schedule said. You can look at it. And then
Stop
you see
it,
that
man.
path they had to the Super Bowl. It was but a
Stop it.
song.
You
It
own the
was.
division, but you didn't win the division. How is
Hey,
that possible?
you just gonna continue to hate like picking a 13-point underdog to beat the Cowboys. I mean, that's
Hey,
just
that 13-point underdog beat you this season before. So I thought the same was going to happen this season.
so we're gonna go back 5 years when they beat before that
No,
too.
no,
I
no, no, no,
mean,
no, no. It wasn't 5 years. It
13
was
points.
just the previous year. It was just last season.
Yeah, but we actually had more on the line this time than last time.
All right.
We
Well,
did.
whatever, man.
I tried to tell you though. I tried to tell you we was gonna stop them wholly though.
Well, I'm
But
glad you did because
you kept your head
you look.
alive. You kept your head alive.
But
And the boys came and proved the business, came handle business, and now we're number 2 seed.
well, I tell you what. I mean, that was one that you got right because you went 9-7 with your picks last week, whereas I went 11-5. So okay, yeah, you got me with the Commanders and Cowboys, but you
Yeah, I
didn't
don't know
get
how
me
you would
anywhere
have
else.
if I picking teams like the Commanders, but okay.
I mean, even Rico went 10-6. You're
Okay.
9-7. So, we'll get to that. We'll get back to those horrible picks you made. I had that one clown pick. I give you that.
Oh yeah, that was. Oh yeah, we put a big clown around that one. And I remember the music and everything. But yeah, you had a couple squeakers. You know what I'm saying? Then a couple joints I made a mistake because I didn't realize who was out and who was in too. So
No, I don't. I think it's more than that. Stop it.
of course
But
that's what it is.
but but look. Hey, both our teams got wins this week. All right, Cowboys won, and the Saints finished the season just as I said they would, 9-8. They blew out the Falcons, 48-17. And surprisingly, Desmond Ritter started out looking like Tom Brady, Joe Montana. I mean, he had a perfect quarterback rating in the first half. He
Yeah,
had two big long pass plays, one for 50, and I think he had a 71-yard touchdown pass to Bijan Robinson.
yeah,
He
that one he threw to the side. Yeah,
to the side. He was looking fantastic. And then in the second half, he became that Desmond Ritter that we all love. And
You know
that's
that's the
that's what
problem.
that's when we started to pour it on. And I got to give it to Derek Carr. This was one of the better games that I've seen from him. I was happy with the way he performed down the stretch in the season. However, I don't think that's enough to make this team a playoff team, like whether it was this season or next season. I mean, we're still going to be like a team that's going to get you 9 wins. But better than what we had before. So it was an improvement. They ended exactly where I thought. And, defense was strong this season. Offense, still trying to figure it out. I think the quarterback is key to that. But we got to get to the elephant in the room. The thing that just kind of just puts a stench to this win. I mean,
You needed a lot of help, man. You needed a lot of help to to get
what
in
do you
play
mean?
to get in the playoffs.
To play them?
To get in the playoffs.
Oh, to get in the playoffs? No,
Yeah.
that's not the elephant in the room I'm talking about.
What you talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, we just missed the playoffs. We needed a lot of help. We needed the Bucks to lose. We needed this. If the Bucks didn't lose, then we needed the Seahawks and the Packers to lose to get a wild card spot. It wasn't a snowball chance in hell any of that was going to happen. Okay, because the Bucks were playing the Panthers. They weren't losing to them,
Right.
and we knew both the Seahawks and the Packers weren't going to lose, so they weren't going to make the playoffs. But the elephant in the room is the bogus fake victory formation play at the 1
Oh.
yard line that Jameis Winston handed off to Jamal Williams for a touchdown. Look, and I know I'm one of the few people out here that's saying that was BS. And it shows the dysfunction of this team where your backup quarterback defies the head coach. Because apparently they asked the head coach, they asked Dennis Allen on the sideline, hey, Dennis, can we get Jamal a touchdown? He led the league in touchdowns the season before with 17, rushing touchdowns with 17.
Mm-hmm.
He signs with the Saints. We're thinking that we're going to get the same thing out of him. He has a goose egg of touchdowns, rushing touchdowns at the end of the season. So apparently they felt, compelled to do whatever they could to get him a rushing touchdown. If you listen to Jameis Winston talk about this, like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
But
dog. I heard that interview on the side, and I was just like, "What? It was a team decision.
it was a team
Is the
decision.
coach is the team correct? Don't he run the team?
But wait, it was even more. He said he's the leader of these men on the field, and they had to
Yeah,
do something for their brother who he had his blood, sweat, and tears of the season
yeah.
on the line, and we wanted to get him a touchdown. Is he dying of cancer? Wait, is his last season of football? What am I missing? That we had to defy the head coach. The backup quarterback had to defy the head coach.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah,
and so look, and to all my listeners out there, I'm not upset about running up the score. Look, my thing is, if you can't stop us, then that's on you, right?
yeah,
So I'm gonna
yeah.
run up the score. I can do what I want to do, but
That's
don't
right.
do it out of victory formation. Don't
Right, right, right. Because it's sneaky. You being sneaky at that
You've
point.
been sneaky,
Yeah,
and in my
yeah,
opinion, is dangerous. And let me just explain to our listeners. When you line up in victory formation, you're signaling to the defense that, hey, everybody relax. You know, let's not go 100% here because we're gonna be shaking hands and let's just get this game over with so we can avoid injuries and stuff like that. And so you see players, they start loosening up their chin straps, taking off their shoulder pads, getting ready for this thing to be over with. And you got these clowns coming at you 100 miles an hour to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. And it's like, come on, man. That's
yeah,
dirty, dude. Just call a regular play if you're going to
yeah.
run up the score. So that was my issue with it. Wasn't so much about running up the score. It was just the fact that you did it out of the victory formation, which I thought was unnecessary and sneaky.
It was because you like you said, you're at the goal line. I know you only need an inch, but you're in a formation where they're not going to really be trying to come get you.
Exactly.
So, they're kind of just sitting back waiting for you to kneel on the ball to end the game, and you go and hand the ball off. And the thing is, yeah, Winston said that joke like he had a point. Like
Right.
he said that joke like he still was the starting star quarterback of the team. And it was his choice. Like the coach said, hey, do what y'all want to do.
Right. And he keeps talking as if, like, I don't know. I get bothered by when people try to associate, a game, a football game, a basketball game to war and to being a military officer leading men. And, this is not life and death. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Jamal Williams he'll survive if he doesn't score a touchdown this season.
that's right.
His career is not over.
Yep.
But they made it seem like they had to get this touchdown for him. And I was a little concerned. I was like, well, maybe something is happening with Jamal Williams where he needs this touchdown to survive. The way they were talking. It was very
No
emotional.
incentives. I mean, give me an incentive. Give me something. Give me like a
Right.
real.
I mean, did he get 100,000 for? I don't know. I just didn't get it. I thought it was unnecessary. I also thought it was dangerous. I don't like the Falcons either, but not enough where I want to get a cheap shot like that. I thought that
Yeah,
was dirty. So
yeah,
that has been the thing that's kind of clouded this win. And a good finish to the season. You have a thing like that, and I'll also add, and I'll leave this thing alone because I know it's been talked about everywhere else. I want to say that I think that this was like Jameis Winston's big FU to Dennis Allen in his final season. This is probably
yeah.
his final season with the Saints. Now, keep in mind, he came in 2020 under Sean Payton with hopes of being the starting quarterback to be the heir apparent to Drew Brees. And when Drew Brees got hurt during that season, Sean Payton started Taysom Hill.
Yep.
Jameis Winston didn't play in 2020. 2021, he won the starting job over Taysom Hill, started the season, he had the knee injury. So he didn't finish. And then in 2022, when Dennis Allen took over as head coach, he started the season with Jameis Winston. And Winston was awful at the beginning of the season. and eventually was benched for Andy Dalton. Although Winston had some minor injuries, he thought once he got fully healthy, he was going to get the job back. And Dennis Allen didn't give it to him, and he was not happy about that, and basically said he was lied to by Dennis Allen. So this could be a bit of a I got you back for what you did to me, Dennis.
Yeah, because it was kind of like a little BS. Hey, my bad to DA, my bad to DA, but it was a team decision, it was a team. Like, yeah, but he's the coach of the team.
Right.
What are you talking about? You can't go against what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah, that was
yeah, right.
Come on, James. That might be his last game.
Oh, that might be his last game.
That might be his last.
But my thing is, somebody's got to go. It is Dennis Allen, Jameis Winston, and all the players that support him. Somebody's got to go because this cannot coexist. So let's get back to sunshine, man, because a good win, beat the rival Falcons, and you end the game with this foolishness, and that's what we're talking about. Thanks, Jameis.
The vaunted Falcons.
Yeah, right. The mighty Falcons.
The mighty Falcons. Yeah. That was just a bad look.
Yeah, it was. All right. Like I said, let's get back to sunshine, cotton candy, and butterflies here. So we had the Michigan Wolverines winning the college football national championship over the Washington Huskies. I was actually rooting for the Huskies because I like Penix, Michael Penix Jr. But I felt that Michigan was the better team, the stronger team. They had the better offensive line, and I thought that was just going to be too much for Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I was rooting for Michigan, not Michigan. I was rooting for Washington because I had a pre playoff bet on them to win the national championship. So I had some financial interest in them winning, 800 plus 750 wager to win. But nice. So I really have a horse in the race besides that. But like you said, the Michigan Wolverines, they were just noticeably bigger than Washington. And when it came to the trenches, they just dominated the trenches. It seemed like they could run anywhere they want, anytime they wanted, if they just stayed with it. I mean, there were times in the game where I was like, why is Michigan throwing the ball? Like, right. why did they go 3 plays in a row and just throw the ball?
Right.
I mean, your team, you had 2 running backs who had 50-yard runs in the first half. You know what I'm saying? So why are you even thinking about passing at that point?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of carries, but I thought they should have carried the ball more.
They were averaging 8 yards a carry. It was unbelievable. They had 2 backs over 100 yards. They had a total of 303 yards rushing on the ground, 4 touchdowns, 8 yards a carry. I mean, that's total domination. Right. You don't need a quarterback.
They built a lot of that average up early because, like I said, both of them had 50-yard runs. Right. So they built a lot of that up early, and there was a little section in there where it looks like that Washington adjusted and they started sending people in the gaps and, you know what I'm saying, and being able to hold up the blocks and not get blown up the ball so much. And they started stopping them some. Like, it looked like they might be able to come back for like a half a second. I mean, not a half a second, but, it was about a good quarter. Where it looked like they were on the way back. But then they started committing, and Michigan came with these RPOs, started doing the RPO, bringing the linebackers up, hitting them over top of the linebackers. Sometimes that was like 15, 25 yards a pop, and they'll get them coming across the field, and, the linebackers are already up, so they're in no position to make the play. And you brought one safety up, so he's not there to make the play. And then they started getting to Penix because Washington is more of a finesse type offense.
Yep, they are.
They're high flying, passing, spread, finesse offense. And they started getting to Penix. He started holding his side. He kept every time he got up, he kept on grabbing his right hip. They started getting to him. And then Penix had opportunities and just missed them.
Yeah, he did. He missed a wide open receiver for a touchdown. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. It's the
But,
same opportunities Alabama had. And I was thinking to myself, well, if Penix get the opportunity, he's not going to miss those. But he did miss those. It
yeah.
was like three of them, three long passes that the
Yep.
guy stepped.
But,
He was
but
wide open.
it wasn't that he just missed them. The pressure forced him to get rid of it sooner than he wanted to, or forced him to, throw an errant pass. So it wasn't like he was just standing back there and he had wide open receivers. He just threw an errant pass. I
Oh
thought the
no,
pressure got to him.
two of those, no pressure. He was just back. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, ball gone.
Okay.
And
Because I remember the
the
one
guy was
early
open.
in the first half where the
Very,
receiver was running down the right side of the field where they caused some confusion with the defensive backs, and he was wide open, but Penix had to get rid of the ball early, too early, right? He had to throw it. He threw it further to the right where the receiver was running more of a seam, and he threw it to his outside shoulder, and he couldn't adjust for it.
I don't think he threw it too early because to me, he should have threw it earlier because he was open way before that ball
Right.
got, you know
He
what I'm saying?
was.
Like if you look at the play, like play out, he was
Right.
open way before he threw it. He could have actually threw him open and it might have been a better pass.
Right.
But now the guy was bearing down on him, but I thought the Penix had enough time to get that off though.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying because initially, the initial route after he passed the two defensive backs, the ball could have been going right then and there. He could have just got it to him, but he waited. He waited till he got a little further, and then that's when the pressure got to him, and then he had to get rid of. I got you. So
and then also the receiver when he made the adjustment on the play, because Penix, I thought Penix saved him a little bit because he threw it away from the safety,
right
right?
from the safety. Yep.
So he threw it to the other side of the safety, but instead of the wide receiver turning backwards and going to the other
Right.
side,
Yeah.
he came back toward the line of scrimmage and it tripped
Right.
himself up.
Right. I thought
You
that
know?
was weird because I know if I'm running upfield
Exactly.
and I'm facing
I'm not
inside,
turning back to the line of scrimmage to make that turn.
and the ball is going to the outside of me, I'm still running upfield. I'm gonna just turn my head to the outside and run under the ball. Opposed to you saying, he's facing inside. His head is facing inside, and instead of him turning to the outside, he turns more inside and tries to loop around, and, and then turn back upfield to catch that ball, which was impossible. Yeah, that was funny. That's one way of really dissecting that play on how Washington missed out on a lot of opportunities in this game, and they had very little margin of error against Michigan.
Yeah, and when you're undersized like that, you already got the bad. It's bad when you got your disadvantage is stopping the run.
Yeah,
I guess the run good because they're gonna own you. They're going to kind of move you down the field.
Yep.
Especially so when you had those opportunities like that, you cannot miss it. You just can't. That's the only way you're gonna win it.
Yeah, because look, let's give credit where credit is due. I mean, the big uglies, they're not going to get the attention, and they're not going to get all the fanfare. But Michigan had the best offensive line. Their offensive line for the second straight year, they won the Joe Moore Award as the best offensive line in the nation, and they had the best interior offensive lineman. He won the award for it, the Outland Trophy, the best interior offensive line, and the best center in the game. So Michigan totally dominated, and there was a reason why, because they had the best offensive line, and it showed when you pick up these stats. I mean, the quarterback, McCarrett, had 140 yards passing, right? No touchdowns, no interceptions, but hey, both of their backs had over 100 yards rushing. So total domination.
It kind of makes you wonder what the heck happened to them last year with TCU.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it makes you kind of wonder because TCU was the same type of Washington team, a finesse, undersized team who come from a conference who's not as tested.
Yeah, well, but
Michigan,
but I think it was more Michigan's defense wasn't playing well last season, and TCU picked them apart because that game, I thought it went. I remember, it went back and forth, and then I think Michigan kind of fell apart towards the end, and TCU they got offense kept it rolling. So I think it was more or less Michigan improving defensively this year to be able to stop teams. So that was really the difference in this Michigan team this year. Thanks for joining us again. We do this thing every week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.